today's speaker, Wing Commander Vinod Neb, sir. So, who got Veer Chakra on two of the occasions during 1965 and 71 wars. And it is, I think, it is one of the rarest of rare occasions wherein we find our air warriors delivering or doing great things for the country. And also, we feel proud of the fact that having more than one air warrior, air hero like Group Captain Das sir and Suresh Karnik sir, and we'll be having our PPS quarters also. The presence of the war heroes like you always make us inspired or re-energized seeing you and talking to you. It's a great learning, sir. For the past 8 months, wherein we have been having the chance of talking to great heroes. So, in our journey of 1971 War Series webinar, sir. So, we wholeheartedly welcome today's guest speaker, Wing Commander Vinod Neb, sir, who got double Veer Chakras in both the wars. So, welcome, sir, Wing Commander Neb, sir, for today's call. So, on behalf of all our air warriors on the call, so I salute you for your bravery. So, we respect you for the valor. So, it's a great honor to have you on the call today, sir. So, you are welcome.
Dr. Saab, क्या हाल है?
It has been a long time, Neb sir. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You are looking. I can say. I can ask you. In fact, भाई साहब कौन से चक्की का आटा खाते हैं?
सब लोग पीसते हैं.
नहीं. You are looking very young and very handsome, I must say.
Sir, I think we may be permitted to ask the same question all the VrC holders. कौन सा चक्की का आटा?
एक चक्की है, उसका नाम है एयरफोर्स, इंडियन एयरफोर्स.
Yeah.
उसको पीसा है, उसका आटा निकला है, वो बहुत बढ़िया है.
नहीं बहुत बढ़िया. We enjoyed, at least I enjoyed by staying in the Air Force thoroughly. I'll say I am still relishing it.
So that's great, sir. So I once again welcome all our today's air warriors to this call, wherein we are going to listen to the war experiences of our Wing Commander Neb sir, who got VrC bar. It's only rarest of the rare cases we can see this, and let's all welcome him, Wing Commander Neb sir. So you can start your journey into the Air Force, sir, as to how and why you joined the Air Force, then how you navigated your journey into the Air Force, particularly winning those two Veer Chakras, both in 65 and 71, sir. You can start your journey. You can walk us through your journey.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
It's a very long journey, and you're really taking me back many years, and I will try and make it as vivid as possible. Let me tell you, first and foremost, why and how I got into the flying. That's very important. Actually, I was not a very good scholar, not very good at studies. And when I cleared my PUC, and my father gave me a 1,000 rupee note. Those days we used to have a 1,000 rupee note. He gave me 1,000 rupee note for having achieved, which everybody normally achieves, but for me it was a starter anyway. So having cleared that, with that 1,000 rupees, I was feeling great. And those days, what used to happen is that flying in the flying club was 10 rupees an hour if you were a high school qualified. So what I did was, with that money, I went to Jaipur. And there, flying club was available to us. We went there, and 1,000 rupees for 10 rupees an hour was a lot of flying one could do.
Okay.
But of course, I had to stay also with that money. However, I used to go up and down. Captain Vijay Singh was my instructor in the flying club, Jaipur. So there I did my flying, and this is where I tasted the blood, the goodness of being in the air and seeing the world below you. All that came in from the flying club of Jaipur.
Jaipur, yes.
Yeah. So from there, my money finished, so I came back to Jodhpur, and now I was looking for avenues how to get into the air. So there are friends like those who are in college with me there. I was studying in Jaswant College, Jodhpur. So they said, no, what you can do is you can join the Air Wing NCC.
Okay.
Sure. And then you have A certificate, B and C certificate like that.
Yes.
And you get the glider flying, you get power flying. So I say, all right, this is a good way of doing it. So I got into the Air Wing NCC. Now, first in A, of course, they make you do parade all the time and some bit of aero modeling. The aero modeling really got me interested in my life. This aero modeling, I prepared one aero model called Mustang and put a 5cc frog engine into it and took it to Calcutta for the aero modeling race. You will not believe, Rasab, I got a speed of 96 miles an hour on that model.
Okay,
So,
great.
then came back, and then we was moved on to the B syllabus. Then in B syllabus we do the glide flying. We had the T-21B and the Olympia. The gliders were there with us in Jodhpur Air Force Station, and the CI that time was Colonel Lal Kaka. He was my instructor, and Colonel Nizamuddin was my CEO of the NCC squadron. Now, Lal Kaka was my instructor, and he used to take me up in. We were authorized 50 launches. So in one of the launches, we were flying with the Eagles, and to catch the thermal and soar height and all that. I did achieve a good height of some 7,000 plus feet, and we thought it was a great height. In fact, we could have gone higher, but did not do so because it was very cold, and we were not kitted for 7,000 feet of height.
Okay.
Anyway, we came back and landed. This was carrying on. In the meantime, what happened is my father got posted to Bombay.
Okay.
When he got posted to Bombay, I had to move from Jodhpur to Bombay. Now in Bombay, what was happening is he was staying in Chembur, and Vidya Vihar was my college. KJ Sumaya College was my college, and the NCC was happening in Jahin College, that's Church Gate. Juhu was at the other end. If you know the topography of Bombay, you realize.
Yes, sir.
It's a triangle you have to make to do, and this I was doing every day to cope up with my C certificate, with my flying, and I was a science student and coping up with my practicals and all that. Oh my God, what a time I had! But however, I was doing it. Having completed my C certificate, one day my CEO asked me a question. He says, Neb, would you like to join Air Force? I said, sir, as what? He said, obviously as pilot. Oh, I said, you're God. Of course I would love to join Air Force anytime. Now he sent me off, but the letter name was recommended after all that, and I was asked to report to Dehradun in a selection board. I didn't tell my parents that what I need to do and where I was going, but since I belong to Dehradun, I just said I want to meet my grandfather, so there was no questions asked, and I was allowed to go there. Now, having gone there, in the selection board, you had to be present at the camp. So I told another lie to my grandfather that there's somebody who's getting married and I have to be in the barat and all that, and so I will be missing.
That was the excuse.
Yeah. Then what happened is I checked in with Clementown and in the one selection board. We went through all the procedures, whatever they had to do, and whatever they found. The last day, there's a round table count. The president sits, and all these guys, those who've been checking you all the way, they all sit there. So the question was asked, the famous question, why do you want to join the Air Force?
Okay.
I said, so there are two reasons. One is we were ashamed in 62 war.
Oh, okay.
That was playing on to me. A separate account. I never talked about it earlier, but however, it was showing on many faces. It has shown up earlier also. So I said that is one, and we would like to redeem that honor, which we have lost. Yeah. So second is now having done my license, I was paying and flying. So I said, if I'm selected by the Air Force, what will happen is I will fly and you will pay me. So far it was the reverse. I was paying and flying.
Win-win situation for both Air Force and for you also. Yeah.
Right. So he said, you're a cheeky fellow. I mean, they sound like a...
Most appropriate answers.
I said, sir, well, these are the facts. I would like to narrate the facts to you. So anyway, I was taken in, I was selected, and after selection, there was a little drama with the parents that we got over very fast. I said, look, I'm not good at studies and I'm good at this and I love it, and I think the best is I'll never be working here after, I'll be only enjoying life.
Right.
That's exactly what happened with me. And I got into the Air Force. Luckily, medical, everything, Central Vista, which was there, which is being demolished now, is not there, going to be. So that's where the medical was conducted. And first posting was Sarsawa, 45 Squadron. And,
when did you join, sir? When were you commissioned into Indian Air Force?
December 63, I was commissioned. 1963.
63, yes.
Yeah. So we were posted. It was a winter month, and you know what? There was all tented accommodation. There was only one pakka room, which was for my colleague Dhar, who was the CEO, and rest all stayed in a tented accommodation. And that's the first time I was introduced. I thought the Thunderbox thing will be over in the NCC, but it came right back even as a commission officer. So that was a young life we had there. But then luckily the squadron moved out from there to Pune, and we were there for a while in Pune. Then I was upgraded from there to a power flying into the Hunter aircraft.
Hunter. Okay.
So, yeah, that time my squadron was in Ambala but moving to Halwara. So I was asked to report at Ambala. And then, of course, Nobby Clark, the CEO, he said, no, you look after my car and take it to Halwara. That was the ride we went to. This is how the squadron moved to Halwara. And I was with 27.
Yes.
Now, in 27, life was fantastic. There was one lovely, great man, which I always remember as my mentor, who always told me something very good and which I cherish even till date. This man is called the Job, Dilip Job. He retired as a air marshal. I think he's no more anymore. That's what I learned. Anyway, that's sad. This man told me that do better than the best. How can they? I mean, just think about it. What is better than the best? It is already best. There can be nothing better. But however, these words.
Be your best always. Be your best always.
It is that you whatever you do, nobody else should be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
I think that's what you did in the wars.
I'll cover that story also.
Yeah.
And how. So this is a great learning which he had put it on my chest, and my head is engraved forever. And believe me, this is how I followed my life, and it has paid off dividend big time to me, big time.
Okay.
And that's what made me what I am today. Is all those words have been reverberating in my head all the time, and they are there. I really cherish them.
So
now,
you lived up to those words.
I tried. So. And now what happens is, it's a little small story here also.
Sir.
I was from Hunter. We were posted to Nebb Squadron. Even I was posted to Nebb Squadron.
Okay.
Ambala. And there, Aubrey Michael was the crew. I mean, that time OC flying.
Okay.
And Dhothiwala was the CEO. I was back to 15th Squadron there.
Okay.
Now, having got posted to a NAT, I was cleared for my solo. I mean, there is no trainer in any case in a NAT. You do the trainer flying on the Hunter and you fly NAT.
Okay.
So when I taxied out to the NAT aircraft, you will not believe, it was hurting my shin because it has a toe brake. So for turning, you apply brake and you push your leg forward. And you know, the angle is such angle, it hurts you on the shin if you're disproportionate like I was slightly.
Okay.
So at the ORP, I said, it's hurting my shin, kindly give me instruction. So Upar Singh comes and he says, tell it to switch off. Then I was towed back to the apron. You know what, what they found? That people first taunted. He said, what do you think? Mervyn Pinto is such a tall person. What's wrong with you? So they changed the parachute. We used to sit on the parachute in this aircraft.
Okay.
So they changed the parachute. Maybe it's wrong packing or whatever. They corrected it. And still, I had the same issue. Then they say, okay, let me pull this man out.
Was it because of your height, sir?
I will explain that.
Okay.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
So what they did was they pulled my ejection seat. They removed the cartridge. They pulled the ejection seat. And you know, if I had ejected in their aircraft, I would have left my left knee behind in the cockpit.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they wanted to work out what is wrong, what Mervyn Pinto can do and what Nebb can't do, yet being already an inch and a half shorter than him. So everything was measured by a doctor came and measured. What he found from my back to the knee, this length is more than the usual.
Achha.
You get it?
Yeah.
Now, so when this goes forward, so what happens is the angle between the knee and your heel is very steep when you go forward, right? Now, when you apply toe brake, your shin faced the panel, the instrument panel. Thereafter, it became a norm. Everybody was checked for these conditions before getting posted to Nebb Squadron.
Okay.
This is why I wanted to say certain changes in the medical requirement came if you were posted to a Nebb Squadron.
Okay, that's great.
Marginal case. Yeah. Anyway, then I was posted back to Halwara. Now, at Halwara, I lost some time. I would have finished my at least the full air defense and ground attack, but my ground attack was lagging. In air defense, I had few sorties left when the war started. We had another gentleman called Don Conquest. So I pleaded with first Don Conquest. I said, Sir Pushkaro, you have to do something. War doesn't come every time. It will not be easy for everybody to take part, and who knows, will I be in the Air Force next time or not? But this is the chance we have got.
Oh.
So he said, no, you speak to Jogi Boy. He used to call him Jogi Boy. He says, okay. So I went to Jogi. I said, sir, this is the thing. And this is what I feel. And I feel very strongly about it. I know I have not finished my full syllabus. I'm not fully off. I understand. But okay, if you don't take me ground attack, you take me for the air defense. He said, but there are two sorties left. I said, sir, it's all okay. But so Don Fox was detailed to the dual check in a cap. in a cat. So this is turned kind of a joke anyway. So after having done this sortie, I was told, okay, you are declared air defense, and now you can do the ORC.
Okay.
Now, having got this qualification, I was detailed for the war. Now, 6th September. But actually, before 6th, I must tell you, on the 5th September, 104 came down. There's a runway is 1331 in Halwara. So he came down 130 and did a roll turn kind of thing and back again and out. That's all he did. Now we knew that there is some kind of photography he's done, and this probably
No,
will
was
be
it
used.
an enemy aircraft, sir?
Yeah, 104.
Oh,
Starfighter, Pakistani aircraft.
okay, okay.
Yeah. So on 6th, when I was on ORP, I was early morning ORP, and my ORP finishes at 12 o'clock, and then the next party takes over from you, and they do till the dusk.
It was in 1965.
65,
Yes,
65.
yes.
I'm talking about 6th December 1965. So the morning I finished my job, and 12 o'clock I was to go. Then Colonel Patel is the person who was, and Rathore were to replace us and to take over from us and carry on thereafter. Patel asked me, he says, Neb, could you do me a favor, do my duty, and I will do yours some other time. As a bachelor, you have nothing to do in life, and especially when you can't book out, can't do anything. I said, sir, most gladly I shall do this.
So exchange
What I-
duties between two of you. Both of you exchange your duties when you are
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
it.
I will, well, he'll be exchanging it later, but this is what I was doing for him.
Yes.
Why it is important to tell you that in detail, because Air Force has great pilots, well qualified, well versed with the job which they are doing. Here, destiny, which is called time and space, which plays a very important role.
Sir.
Here, my destiny was playing a role, bringing me to a point in a place where I could do something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this is the changeover took place, and this is why I wanted to highlight. It was not my job, but my destiny brought me to this point.
Okay,
That's
that's
what I'm
great.
saying.
That's great.
So in the evening, what happens is on the Chennai, we had the Chennai system, which is the base of the ORC and in the Air Defense Center. Ambala was the Air Defense Center that time. So they were talking in the lingo, which nobody can understand. Tamil you can't understand. Pakistani will never understand this language. So they were talking in the lingo, but we could make out few words. The words which came out was, "Can you get all your aircraft airborne?"
Okay.
Now we are expecting a massive raid over Pathankot, Adampur, Halwara, and all that. Like
Got
that.
it. Got it.
So I knew one thing: that all the aircraft cannot be made, cannot be got airborne because it's a huge task, mammoth task. It won't happen. So, but I knew one thing: the ORP will be asked to scramble and catch. I was very sure about it. So as time progressed, VrC Rathore, who was my leader, having briefed me about the cap, etc. So when the time was getting closer, about half an hour before, I took my helmet and started walking to the aircraft. VrC asked, he says, where are you going? I said, VrC, I'm doing ORP for the first time. And I don't want to mess up in case of scramble. I don't want to forget switches, etc. and all that. So let me go and sit down in my cockpit and we'll see what happens. And I walked to the aircraft. I sat in the cockpit, put on my helmet and everything, strapped myself up, waited for him, just checking.
So you got ready even before the scramble signal was given.
That's right. I got into the cockpit before the scramble was given.
Yes.
You're right.
Okay.
Then I saw, after about 10-15 minutes, VrC running from there, from the ORP room. And so all I did, I asked him what? He did with his finger, start up. So I started up my engine and waited for him on the RC to come. So I asked on the RT, he says, Nebb scramble. I said, okay. And he says, a cap overhead. Okay, fine. The rest was very clear to me. So we got airborne. We did barely 2 orbits. And after 2 orbits, now here people must understand, most of the Air Force guys will understand what I'm trying to say is, Ludhiana is northeast of Halwara.
Yeah.
Okay. Why it is important? Because this is what I'm going to say is relevant to that to understand the 3-dimensional picture which I'm going to put across.
Yes.
Ludhiana is northeast of Halwara and the runway direction is the 1331.
Okay.
Okay. And now we are capping. I was on the southern, VrC and I were on the southern side of the runway. When that's the time I spotted 3 aircraft coming. So simple reporting, bogey, so-and-so clock, and etc. and low. All that was given. Why I did not say, because I was not sure in my head what a Sabre looks like, because it resembles a lot with Mr. aircraft.
Okay.
So, should there be any confusion, it should be very clear. Later on, VrC did not tell me it is Sabre, but he made this contact. He says contact there. Once there is contact, then my job is over. Just stick with him and keep clearing the tail. We were maneuvering, we maneuvered, and finally we were in a westerly direction, north of the airfield, closer to the. We had a range there, Sidwakas range, from Jagram. When you run it, there's a Firozpur road is there. So this is quite vivid to me, even till date after so many years.
Yeah.
So here I found that VrC is behind the aircraft and he's firing. He did not tell me it is a Sabre. I held it against him that you should have told me these are Sabres as a leader.
Okay.
Never mind. So when I saw him firing, because you can see when you fire, the smoke comes out of your gun.
Yeah.
So I saw the gun smoking, and there was an aircraft ahead of him. So all right. So I looked on the other side, left of it, because I was on the left, and I saw there was another aircraft ahead of me. I said, boy, he's firing. That means it is confirmed. It's not a mistake. It's a Sabre.
Okay.
So this aircraft is also Sabre. So now in my excitement, what I did was I just barely brought my gun sight onto it and I fired. Quickly, let's get him. So when I fired, I saw my rounds going, flying the ground.
Okay, not going there.
Not hitting the target at all.
Okay.
Then suddenly we had flight lieutenant Bailey. He used to teach us ranging and tracking. So he said, come on, Bailey, R&T, ranging and tracking. Put your bloody paper, clip the diamond, then fire. So put the paper on the aircraft, clip the diamond to feed the range, and then I gave a burst. Now this burst hit him. When this burst hit him, and this guy opened fire, and this black smoke came out. You can see behind me also. This picture is running.
Yeah, the picture vividly. In fact, I saw those pictures practically, physically when I visited you last time. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So the black smoke came out.
Yes, sir.
And he was hit. But I was told we had great people. We had that time he became a chief also, but flying officer Christmas on him. He had briefed us that you put half a kg of HE and the aircraft will explode. Now, having fired on this aircraft, the aircraft is not exploding, so there is something wrong. So I kept on firing. I gave another burst. After the second burst, I moved back. I said, maybe I'm not hitting correctly. So let me hit. I moved the paper a little more closer to the cockpit and fired. This time, the aircraft did a vicious left turn.
Yeah.
And this vicious left turn it gave me a planned view. For a fraction of a second, the aircraft stayed stationary. I hit him squarely on his left port wing's root.
Okay.
And after that, the aircraft exploded, and there's a big piece like a moon shape was rushing towards me. Rather, I was rushing towards it.
Okay.
That's the time I said, bloody Nebb is going to hit you. You break.
Okay.
And I broke. And that is the time I realized had gone very close, for which I was reprimanded later, but never mind. I was about 100 to 75 yards from the aircraft at this point of time.
Okay.
So I broke to the right. Then VrC was there. We both went up to Firozpur border area, and we were coming around. I asked him, what do we do next? He said, let's see if we find some more. So anyway, we carried on. We didn't find anybody. We came back. Having come back now, in the meantime, there was a confusion at Halwara that all these aircraft should be moved, dispersed. So we were asked to go to Ambala. So we were halfway. We probably reached Khanna or somewhere. We were asked, okay, now you go back to Halwara. Now I was not even night qualified. Forget about everything. And it was getting dark. But however, VrC asked me, he said, will you be able to land? I said, no problem. I'll manage. No sir. So anyway, we came back and we landed. There was, it was dark and hardly any light, but it was okay. We managed to land, came back. When we landed, this is one part worth remembering and telling people. A lot of people don't pay much of attention to the men, those who have supported you, those who made your aircraft possible, how great they feel if you achieve something in life, right?
Yes.
Because the thing which they prepared, they made you sit in it and it's worked. And you have made it work. Exactly, the scene is still so vivid. When I switched off, we collect when you fire the thing, the links are collected and you can open the Sabrina. They all fall. And this guy was throwing on himself like he hit a treasure. The armorer was feeling so great about it.
Feeling so jubilant about the victory.
He was, and rightly so, because the gun didn't stop. We had a famous case Sometimes the plug is not tight, the guns don't fire. Various issues keep coming up in life. So I was lucky, everything worked well, and it happened. I really thank him for, giving me an aircraft which has worked and has fired on the target which we were supposed to do. Successfully. Now, from there returning, first was I sat with my flight commander, and then I barely drove some distance. Then the Nobby Clark, my CO was coming, and met CO, and after CO, then of course station commander John Saab was coming, and then he took me to ops room. Went to the ops room, then he asked the whole detail, what happened, what not. Everything was okay. And then, of course, the night bombing started. So Canberra was doing his job. By that time, it got dark, really dark. So this is the 6th September.
So both the pilots got the hit, sir. I mean, you also hit the target, whatever it is. In the same way, the other pilot also got the hit. I mean, shot down the aircraft.
RC, sir. Yeah. He did. But my wreckage was on the Sidla Khan's range, There's a range we practiced air-to-ground firing.
Okay.
So this wreckage was picked up later on and brought to station. And then later on, I believe it be shifted to Parliament Museum. Somewhere it is available now. So this is the achievement of September.
Hey, sir. Our salute to you for wonderful success. Even though you are now new, I mean, you are not fully experienced, but you made it happen.
No, I must tell you a little more. You see, the great man, the chief, Arjun Singh, he had a Canberra. He's a Canberra pilot also. He used to fly a Canberra.
Yeah.
I mean, he's flown fighters, he's flown Canberra also.
Okay.
So he landed in Canberra to Halwara, and we were actually asked because he wanted to know the full account, what happened and all that. So we were put in front of him, and then he had a question. So anyway, I explained the whole thing as I told you all that. So he says, Neb, you were so close to the man, you could have pulled him out with your walking stick. That's a very nice way of reprimanding me. So, because I was not supposed to get that close, I would have damaged my own aircraft, etc.
Okay.
So it was a nice way of telling that be careful in future, you got away this time.
Right.
This is the message from him. But however, this very man, he did so many great things in my life. First, he gave me a wing when I was passing out.
Oh, same. Arjun Singh.
And this very man declared me fully off.
How? Being a SEBO?
He told Nobby Clark, he said, come on, Nobby, what's wrong with you? Don't we train people for what? Hasn't he done it? He's done it. So what are you sticking for your syllabus? He's not done this or that. So he says, on 6th September 65, I was declared fully off.
Okay.
So
just before this incident, sir.
Sorry?
How many days before the incident? I mean, how many days before you shot down the aircraft?
No, next day he came, no?
Very next day. Okay.
He came the next day. And then he says, no, sorry, you're fully off.
Okay. Great.
That's how it is. This is how I was declared fully off. Now, the life was carrying on, and I finished my syllabus and I took part in various things and all that. One day, what happened is now the journey which takes me to Hashimara, I must cover that part. How I reached Hashimara. Now here, what happened is one day we were doing rollover tactical, and Ram Singh was my aircraft with me. Then this we did a little beat up, unauthorized flying over Christian Medical College in Ludhiana. So having done some beat up there, we were returning. The accounts officer who was going to town, he sees these two aircraft flying low, and he reports to station commander Dilbagh Singh. When he had come over, Dilbagh Singh has taken over.
Okay.
He got his rank from Adhampur or somewhere, and he became group captain, and he took over this base from John. Yeah. So he became the station commander. So it was reported to him. Oh, sir, they're flying so low, dangerous, all that. Now, unfortunately, I will cover this story some other time, but I will just tell you, for this I was punished.
Oh.
Wrongly or rightly, but that is another story. But I was punished. Now, in the punishment, what happened is I was posted to ground duty, radar station. Now, radar station, which radar station? Rampur. Did you hear that name ever? Anyway, it's Singharsi, north of Barracks.
It's a Singharsi, okay.
Singharsi was launched from Rampur. Okay, anyway. So I was posted to Rampur. Now, when I was posted to Rampur, I wrote out my resignation paper and I came to Delhi. I think it was the Air Marshal. I think if Grupi Das remembers the name of VCS, he was not Raja Ram. What was the name? If you can correct me, I'm forgetting.
Das sir, we can.
Anyway, so I called on him because I knew him because when he had come to Halwara, I got explained some other plans of how the airfield should be camouflaged. So he understood that part. So I called on him and he invited, he said, okay, come over, call on me. And those days calling was, fixed timing, half an hour, one drink and out, all that. So I drank his white horse, sat with him, and I handed over my resignation paper to him.
Okay.
He looked at it. He said, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with you, Neb? I said, no, this is it, and I want to go. He said, anyway, have another drink. He gave me another drink. We're supposed to get out after first drink, but never mind. He asked me, so I said, all right, thank you. I had another drink with him, and there he said, no, Neb, is the signal out? I said, yes, the signal is out. If signal is out, nothing will be done because these are my orders. The signal is not to be changed.
Okay.
But he says, I understand your sentiment, but I promise you, you will be, after 1 year, you will be back to.
Okay.
So with that promise, I say, all right. I told that resignation towards early. I said, all right, 1 year, no problem. I'll be back to flying. So I left. Now, Rampurhat, in life, many things happen. One must look for something good which will happen. One should remember.
Yeah, we must remember that everything happens for good.
Yeah. So I forgot about all the bad things which happened. The good thing happened is I found my love there and I married that girl.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And life was beautiful.
Again, it's the destiny that has taken you there.
Destiny took me there. You're right. Absolutely. Time and space. Yes. So this is where I got married. My family was completed and all that. I had two lovely children. And then Hashimara. So back to Hashimara. Now in Hashimara, it was all temporary accommodation. It is a forward area which is being converted into semi, peace and semi, all that, because some accommodation was being built under construction. Anyway, so we were there. We enjoyed ourselves. We lived in Basha. We did many wrong things, many good things, and we enjoyed, really. Here comes the very important thing is when we knew that something has to be done with Bangladesh.
Okay.
Bangladesh was creating a big time problem for our nation, India.
When was that, sir?
This is in the 70s. The problem had started in 70s.
Yeah, okay, okay.
So by 71, we had done a lot of other work. Oh, I must tell you, we also in the Hunter, we had modified the aircraft for the FR roll also. We put 3 cameras on the one left, one right, one in the belly. All 3 cameras covering. We could really do a good work in this.
Yes.
And like the other squadron, which was across us on the other side of the runway, was 37 Squadron Panthers, and that time commanded by Wing Commander Supi Kaul. He became the chief.
Later became Air Chief.
Right. So he was the other person who had a similar facility, same cameras, etc. And we here also had the cameras fitted. And we were practicing and every day trying to master it so that run is never wasted. Because Lele was earlier in 10th Squadron, Lele, and he was the flight commander here with TPS Gill and Lele. Now, Lele having been qualified on the FR role from 10th Squadron, he had the expertise and knowledge. He gave it to us and he told us how to go about it. And so we made ourselves fully ops on the FR role. It's an unfortunate part, we were not utilized. That is the whole point with me. Why we were not utilized, I don't know. But however, we were not utilized. We were quite capable. We could have taken the load of 37 and we could have done this job also.
Okay.
Now, coming to the point of the actual day.
Sir.
Because third night, Pakistan attacked in the
West.
They did. You know about all that.
Yes.
So we knew on the 4th morning that we will get it because it was only a day operation. We had no night operation with the hunter. So we said, okay. Next morning, we went extra early and we had the plans already ready, drawn against Tezgaon and Kurmitola. So it was either north, south. This is how it was. And the rest was all laid out. So it was the first sortie went from 37 spot as the daybreak. And 5 minutes later, we were to take off from this side. This was the gap between the two of us. So we got airborne. We were 4 aircraft. It was led by Squadron Leader. His number 2 was flying Officer Bain. I was the deputy leader number 3, and my number 4 was Bajwa. So 4 of us, we were in a broad frontage. Now you have to imagine a little how we were going. We were broad frontage formation, 10 degrees deep, and there we had number 2's 250 yards on the outer side. Now this is how we were running in from north to south to the IT. It was an early morning, beautiful weather, everything crystal clear. Sun is, you can see, just about popping out of the earth and running in. As we approached the IP, just short of IP, what I see is on my right, 2 hunters are going, and behind them, a distance away, there are 3 sabres.
Okay.
Now, I knew one thing very sure, that with guns, we were not even carrying rockets. I say, with guns, what are we going to destroy? If we are lucky, we'll see some aircraft on the ground and we'll be able to get it. Otherwise, we're going to do nothing really great.
Okay.
I really don't understand, but however, that's one point people have to ponder over it. Why did we carry the rockets with us? Why only guns? Anyway, so these 3 sabres, contact was made and decided to engage them. Now, in this engagement, I called out, and being on the outer side, also a bit of imagination has to be used because it's a 3-dimensional thing which is going to happen.
Sure.
Now, I went over my formation of Lele and Bain. I gave them a hard turn, and a hard turn after a while I will cross over, which I did. Having crossed over after 90 degrees, they were now behind me, and in my blind spot, I cannot see them. I engaged these 3 sabres. These sabres also left them and turned for us. Now, in this melee we were going around, what is happening is one aircraft shot Bain. And when I was high, and I looked at Baines, I said, Baines, Baines, you're hit, eject, first call. So I said, then second call I gave, and the Baines, hang on, don't eject. Because the color of the fuel was gray. It was not black. Okay. So the fuel color was similar. So I said, check your fuel system. We have the transfers, doll's eye, etc. All that happens in.
Yeah, what difference does it make, sir, by the colors?
The color tells you, is it fuel or is it the aircraft which caught fire?
Okay.
The black color would be that, and the bluey gray will be the fuel.
Achha. So
when I saw it's a bluey gray, I say it's fuel. He says sure. He says yes. My transfers are crossed and my whatever there is leaking. So I say okay, you just jettison your tank and you head back. Yeah. So this is exactly what he did. He also lost his ASI in the meantime, and he went back. Now, who's left in the melee? Self and Bajwa.
Okay.
Now, in the maneuvering, what was happening is I was gaining on the. Now, can you imagine? He's doing scissors with me. I'm doing a semi-vertical scissors with him. So I'm gaining on him. I got the place of advantage. My bad luck, Rausa. Here the real thing comes in. I get a fire warning light.
Okay.
Now, I thought fire warning light must be spurious because the aircraft which is coming head on and firing at me, they're carrying a ball ammunition. But there is a chance that one odd has gone into my engine and that's why the light is coming. The procedure is that you throttle right back. You wait for 10 seconds. Okay. And then you open fire. If the light goes off, you open fire and you carry on with the throttle. If the light doesn't go off, you eject. Okay. So that is the drill.
Okay.
Yeah. So now having throttle back, 10 seconds was like 10 hours when you needed every pound of thrust.
Yes.
The combat situation. Yes. You could not. So this is where the call came to my head. Do you want to get blown in your own cockpit or you want to get shot down by this idiot?
Okay.
I had to take a call. I said, no, I will not. I'd rather get blown in my cockpit. I opened full power.
Okay.
Disregarded the fire warning light and I opened full power and got into the full combat. Now I was in a place of advantage. I became in a place where disadvantage because he gained on me in those 10 seconds which I was talking about. He gained on me. Now we are at 180 nautical miles from Hashimara.
Okay.
We could not carry on for combat forever and ever.
Okay.
The fuel is a big issue. So what I did was, this situation one firing from the descending on me, and two are engaging me in a scissors.
Okay.
So in the meantime, what happened to one, I don't know. The two were left here because fuel was short. All I did was, the aircraft which was coming from top, I headed for him,
Okay.
as if I'm going to collide with him.
Okay.
Physically, I'm going to collide with him. Not
Yes,
going
sir.
to shoot him. They're going to collide with him.
Okay.
At this point of time, see, I seeing him between my starboard wing in the corner and the aircraft I was looking, but he's looking at me.